Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi anbiya'i wal mursaleen. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wa idha sa'alaka ibadi anni fa inni qareeb ujibu da'watal du'a da'i idha da'ani. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. This was just a beautiful ayah that I came across and I wanted to share with all our members here. This ayah actually refers to this is part of the ayahs about Ramadan al-Kareem, but this also, the meaning fits perfectly with what the situation we are in, where we are looking, what we are looking for. The meaning of this ayah is, when my servants ask you, O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about me, I'm truly near. I respond to one's prayer when they call upon me. So let them respond with obedience to me and believe in me. Perhaps they will be guided to the right way. This is from Surah Baqarah, ayah number 186. Alhamdulillah. So this is something that where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to ask from him with obedience, and he's near us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very clearly asking us. So all this process we are going through, we should remember that we need to seek our desire, what we want from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what we are going to do today is we are going to take the first few minutes to go through the process that you will go through during the Hajj, the Hajj rituals itself. But we are going to keep it at a high level where basically what we'll be doing, not so much how. The how part, inshallah ta'ala, we'll cover during our fiqh seminars with the muftis. So Brother Wasim is going to go through what are we going to be doing in the next, once we arrive, before we arrive, in fact, basically. Brother Wasim, you're going to talk about the Ihram part of it, right? Etc. Inshallah. So Brother Wasim will go through that, and then we will talk about the logistics at a very high level. We just want to introduce you to these concepts, okay? The much more detail is coming in our seminars at a later time. And inshallah ta'ala, then we'll talk about the updates on round 3 and get into the question and answer. But before Wasim starts talking about what are the steps of the Hajj rituals itself, I want to just share a few thoughts and a reminder. We need to start preparing for the Hajj. No, I'm not referring to the hotels. I'm not referring to flight. I'm not referring to the transportation. I'm not referring to what kind of food, how is the Mina camps. I'm not referring to all that. Inshallah ta'ala, we are here to guide you with all that. Okay, we will help you with all this. We will provide you information. And on the ground, inshallah ta'ala, we'll be there to guide you. What I'm referring to is you all, each one of you, whether you already have a package or you're looking for a package, start preparing spiritually. Start thinking about what is Hajj about. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asking us when he says, come to me, come to me? When he's asking you to come towards the Hajj, what is he asking? He's not talking about, which type of flight you're going to take. He's not talking about what kind of hotel you're going to stay. Allah is asking us to come to him with honesty, with a heart that is clean, with the concept that is saying, I'm coming to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So please start thinking about how you're going to prepare for the Hajj spiritually. I'm not even referring to the du'as. I'm not even referring to how you're going to perform the Hajj itself. I'm talking about spiritually from inside. Start cleansing your heart. Start cleansing your heart. Not that many people have the opportunity to perform Hajj Baitullah. Not that many people have the financial ability, the health, etc., etc. If you are one of the lucky ones this year or next year or the year after, you need to start thinking about what you're performing. What's the concept of Hajj? Start cleansing your heart. Start cleansing your heart. Some of the things that you need to start doing is start forgiving people. Ask forgiveness from people. It's easier actually to ask forgiveness. All you need to do is send out a message, send out a text message, or call the people and say, please forgive me. But forgiving people, that's another ballgame altogether. Okay. We might say, I forgive you, but forgive them from the heart. I know they might have done something hard, something bad. They might have caused you some hardship. But start thinking about the fact that you are going into the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want to go there with a clean heart, with a heart that is clean from any type of bad thoughts, a heart that does not have any black mark on the heart. When you start thinking bad of people, there is a small black dot that starts developing into the heart. And the more you start thinking, more you start feeling bad, more start thinking bad about people, that black mark starts increasing. We don't want a black mark when we are in the Hajj. So start forgiving people. One of the ways that I feel that you can start forgiving people is start thinking of the good deeds that they might have done, whether for you or for other people. If you cannot even think of that, if you feel like, that there are still reasons for not to forgive them, start thinking about, their hardship, their challenges, their bad deed towards you. They're actually giving their good deeds to you. Start thinking that way. Think of some positive way of forgiving people. Start doing that. And then start thinking about how to be patient. One of the biggest challenge during the Hajj is people losing the patience. People losing the patience, and by losing the patience, we end up getting angry. We end up creating challenges for other people. We end up doing things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not teach us. I know it's hard. I know it's 120 degrees. I know that the camps might not be very good. I know the buses might not be good. I know lots of challenges. But at the end of the day, it's you, it's your Hajj. It is when you return back, it's your Hajj Mabrur. It's you. Remember that it's you that matters. It's you that matters. It's your Hajj that matters. So start thinking about it very closely, very closely. And when I am talking about you, I'm also looking at the mirror for myself. I'm referring to myself also. And by the way, it doesn't matter how many Hajj you have performed. It doesn't matter how many Hajj you have performed. Look at as this Hajj being your Hajj Mabrur. This is the Hajj that will get you the Hajj Mabrur. And we'll talk about the benefits of Hajj Mabrur later on. One of the things is the Prophet ﷺ has said that when you return back from Hajj, you return back like a newborn with all your sins cleansed out. That is, if you have achieved Hajj Mabrur. And inshallah ta'ala, each one of you in this call, or who is listening to this message, or who is just going for Hajj, I hope and pray that you get a Hajj Mabrur, inshallah ta'ala, inshallah ta'ala. Brother Wasim?
Alhamdulillah, we are going into now talking about what we will be doing during Hajj. And Alhamdulillah, I know some of you might have already had bought the packages. Some of you might have not been able to purchase packages yet. But this is what we are doing, right? We are doing everything we can from our end, right? We are showing Allah, I'm ready, right? I want to do this. I am doing everything that's in my control. And inshallah, Allah will make it easy for us, even if we haven't bought a package yet, inshallah. So there are a few things that we will be doing during Hajj. And we are doing, like Brother Farid mentioned, we're just going to do very high level right now. Talk about what we will be doing. Each of these actions has a lot of details to it. Inshallah, those will be covered in the detailed fixed sections. So, but at a high level, you want to know that Hajj can be done in three different ways. There are three types of doing Hajj. One is Hajj Tamattu, one is Hajj Qiran, and one is Hajj Ifrad. So Tamattu is usually what people do. Most of the people do Hajj Tamattu. That is, you do Umrah first. Once you're done Umrah, you come out of Ihram, and then you do a separate Ihram for Hajj. Hajj Qiran is when you do it together. You do Umrah, and then you stay in Ihram, and that same Ihram you continue with Hajj days as well. And third is Ifrad, which is usually done by locals, where they're doing Hajj only. They don't do Umrah. So we'll assume we'll assume Tamattu here. So The first question that each one of you will be want to be very familiar with is when you're going to put on ihram, right? If you're going to go to Medina first, then you will not be putting ihram on the way to Saudi Arabia. Even if you are going to land in Jeddah, even then you will not put on ihram on the flight or anyway. If you're going to Medina first, if your package is Makkah first, you will be putting on ihram prior to landing in Saudi Arabia. Now in ihram, we'll go into more details, but one is the close of ihram and one is the knee of ihram. So if you are going to Makkah first, we usually suggest put on the clothes of the ihram before, right? Either on your original city or at a layover if you have a layover in your flight, and then you don't make intention yet. You make intention right before you are going to cross Miqat, which is the boundary line. They usually announce it in the flights as well. So you want to make intention for ihram before you land if you're going Makkah first. If you're going Medina first, the advantage is you'll be in your regular clothes, you'll not be in ihram, you land in Medina or in Jeddah, you travel to Medina straight, you don't go to Makkah in that scenario. And then when you are on your way from Medina to Makkah, that's when you will put on ihram. So there are different miqat points depending on which area you're entering from. But so yeah, you'll either visit Medina before the 5th of Zulhijjah typically or after the 13th of Zulhijjah. So depending on whether it's a Makkah first or a Medina first package. Now, when you do go to Makkah, so this slide basically, we're trying to cover the actions when you're going to do once you are going to go into Makkah. Like I said, before you enter and cross Miqat, you should be having ihram. And when you reach Makkah, you'll be doing Umrah. Now, you don't have to do it right away. You can rest and go to do Umrah. But basically, you will be in ihram as long as you have not completed all the actions that are required of Umrah. But basically, the Umrah is ihram. Then you do tawaf and then you do sa'i. And then after sa'i, you do either halaq, which is the shaving of the head, or qasr, which is trimming of the hair. We'll talk about details of what. And then once either of them is done, then you come out of ihram. So that is Umrah. So before you go for Hajj, you will be doing a Umrah. And if you're doing tamattu, then you will, once the Umrah is completed, you have done halaq and qasr, you come out of ihram. If you are doing, Kiran, then you stay in ihram until you go further. So, but usually what you want to do is you want to do your Umrah as soon as you land or after taking some rest. But basically, between that and 7th or 8th Zulhijjah, depending on how long your package is, you might have some days in which if you are closer to Haram, you can go pray there, mashallah. If you are further away, like we have discussed there, sometimes buses can be a challenge. So don't exert yourself too much between Umrah and Hajj because you want to make sure that you are, in your best of your situations for Hajj, in the best of health and, well rested for Hajj. One brother had suggested thing when I was doing my first Hajj, alhamdulillah, that, the first Hajj that you do, this is your first Hajj, right? You can keep doing Hajj after that, but the first Hajj is the furthest. The Hajj that you do afterwards are Nafil Hajj. So you want to make sure that your first Hajj is done perfectly. So for this, you want to make sure that you learn all that needs to be done from a, from a just checklist perspective. What are the things that you have to do? But also, you don't want to limit it just to being a checklist. That's why you want to be very comfortable with what all are actions you have to do during Hajj, so that you don't lose the spirituality. Sometimes trying to complete a checklist, we forget the spirituality of Hajj. So anyways, once you're done with Umrah, typically on the 8th of morning, right? Sometimes some service providers might take you on 7th of Zulhijjah as well, which is about 4th June. But usually on 5th of June, right? 8th of morning, you will be taken to Mina. If you have taken Al-Kabsh package, you will be taken to the Al-Kabsh camp. If you're taking the Muassim package, then you will be taken to the Muassim camp. And this is usually a bus ride. And if you have already come out of Ihram, right, you will be put again before you travel to Mina, you will put on again the Ihram of Hajj, right? And you will put on the Ihram, make the intention, depending on when you're going. And again, 8th of Zulhijjah, typically, like I said, you will be traveling to Mina. On the 8th of Zulhijjah, once you have reached Mina, then you will be staying there and basically preparing for the next day. The next day is the most important day. First day, the 8th of Zulhijjah is also called Yawmul Tarwiyah. We're basically putting on ihram and going to Mina. That's our job, right? And we want to engage in ibadah, engage in du'as, engage in preparation for the next day, the 9th of Zulhijjah, which is the day of Arafah. And you might have heard this hadith many times that Hajj is Arafah. Right? If we miss Arafah, if we did everything else, then Hajj is not done, right? So most important day is the 9th of Zulhijjah, approximately June 6th, again, depending on when the moon is sighted. So in the morning of 9th of Zulhijjah, we will leave for Arafah. And if you are in Muslim camp, that will be a bus ride to Arafah. If you are in Al-Kabsh, then you would be taking the train to go to Arafah. But basically, you want to be in Arafah from Zawal to sunset. Right, that's the timeline you should try and be. And again, there are more details. We're doing very high level right now. That day is the day of dua. That is the day of asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is basically a kind of reminding ourselves of the day of resurrection, when everybody will be standing in front of Allah and we will have to give account of our whole life. Right? So this is basically in the plain of Arafah. We're making duas where we are going to be connected and try to make ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala everything that you would like for this dunya and thereafter. In the evening after Maghrib, right, you would now move to Muzdalifah. So again, if you have a Muslim, it will be a bus that will take you from Arafah to Muzdalifah. And if it's Al-Kabsh camp, there's a train that will take you from Arafah to Muzdalifah. So that night of the 9th, the night after, basically, it's actually the 10th night, because in the lunar calendar, in our Islamic calendar, the night starts, the day starts with the after Maghrib, the day changes. But that after that Maghrib, you'll go to Muzdalifah and you'll basically spend the night at Muzdalifah. So overnight, stay there. And this, up till now, in Mina, you had tents, right? In Arafah also there are tents. Alhamdulillah, there is a mashallah good arrangement. In Muzdalifah, this is an open plain, open sky, and that's where you usually have just some floor carpets usually in those areas. The sub-service providers also provide you sleeping bags and things like that. But you are spending that night overnight in Muzdalifah plain, and there we have to also do two things. One is you have to combine Maghrib and Isha there, so you pray Maghrib and Isha together in Muzdalifah, and you collect stones. So depending on if you are intending to stay only up till the 12th of Zulhijjah, you collect 49 stones. If you want to stay until 13, which is an optional extra day, we'll talk about that a little bit. So you will collect 70 stones. But you collect the stones from Muzdalifah, and then the next morning, basically, you want to leave, so you'll be leaving back to Mina. So you basically come back on the 10th of morning, after sunrise, after Isha, basically. So you will leave from Muzdalifah, and then you'll come back to Mina. Now again, this 10th, 11th, 12th, these are the critical days, right? Here you will be doing what you will see this acronym on the bottom, fast. So this will, inshallah, will also talk about this in more details. But basically, you're doing 4 things here. First is pelting, which is Rami. So that's the P. And there's the animal sacrifice. That's the Hadi. That's the Qurbani that you refer as. Then there is the shaving. S is the shaving or the trimming of hair. You again do halak and kasar. You might have already done halak and kasar before in Umrah. Now this is going to be again, you've already done shaving. You just basically run the razor again, but you will do the shaving as well. And then there is tawaf. So these are the 4 major things. The first day you will do Rami only of the big Jamarat. 11th and 12th you will do all the 3 Jamarat. So every day you are doing Rami. For each of days when you're doing Rami and pelting, you basically are going to go to Jamarat. And this is what Farid Bhai, when he was talking earlier, was talking about that walk that you want to prepare for. So from Al Muassim to Jamarat, you walk, and then you do pelt your stones each day, and you will come back, right? Once your pelting is done, this is the sequence that you will basically want to try and follow. Pelting has to be done. Rami is done first day, usually basically right after sunrise. So you can do before you want to try and be done before Zawal, basically with that pelting, and then you want to make sure that your animals. Now we don't get to do animal sacrifice ourselves there, You usually give it to somebody to do it, either if it's part of your package or either ways you make arrangements. But basically, then you wait for your animal sacrifice notification, your Qurbani notification to come that your Qurbani is now completed. Once Qurbani is completed, then you would shave or trim your hair. And that once this three things are done, the pelting is done, animal sacrifice is done, and the shaving of the head is done, then you come out of ihram. So now you again get back into your regular clothes. So basically, from the 8th of Zulhijjah, right, 8th, 9th, 10th, depending on when the animal sacrifice is completed, you would be in ihram. Now, being in ihram doesn't mean it has to be the same set of clothes. You can change from one ihram to another ihram, but you basically are going to be under the restrictions of ihram. So that's why it's usually a good idea to have an extra ihram. If something gets dirty or it gets spoiled, you can switch into a different ihram clothes. Now, for women, you're just going to use your regular modest clothes. They don't have the unstitched requirements like the men have. So men have to be wearing unstitched clothes. So they're wearing those two white sheets, and then you're wearing flip flops. The women, they're wearing regular clothes. They can wear shoes and they can wear stitched clothes. But basically, you have from the 10th of Zulhijjah, after your animal sacrifice and shaving is done, you're out of ihram. You have until the 12th. Between this time, you can do your tawaf. Right? Again, you want to make sure your tawaf is complete as well. So between these dates, you will basically be traveling from your Mina camp to back to Haram, to Makkah, and that's where you will do tawaf. Now, this is usually where it can get a little challenging. And again, this time, Dr. Khalid will talk more about it, how that logistics will work. But basically, you will go to Makkah, you want to do tawaf, and then you come back. We will go as a group, and it is usually recommended to try and be together with a group. But for whatever reason, if somebody has to do it at a different time, this is your time range. You want to be done before the 12th of Zulhijjah, before the day ends, to have completed tawaf. So each of these days, 10th, you will be, like I said, we'll do Rami, we'll do pelting. 11th, we'll do pelting, and 12th, we'll do pelting. Now, you want to try and leave basically from Mina before Maghrib Salah, right? If you stay the night and now you are in Mina on the 13th of Zulhijjah as well, then you have to do Rami. But if you leave before, then 13th is an optional day. So 10th, 11th, so basically from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, these are the times you're not going to be sleeping in your hotel rooms, although you do have access to your hotel room, but you will be sleeping either in Mina or in Muzdalifah, depending on the day. And now, after the 12th of Zulhijjah is completed, if you are moving back to your hotel, either the 12th or the 13th, depending on what time. Now, before you leave Makkah, the last tawaf that you do, so that's your tawaf al-wida. So you want to make sure you do your tawaf al-wida before you leave Makkah. So depending on when your flights are, and the page will talk about the logistics of things, but basically you want to do tawaf al-wida before you leave Makkah. So this is very high level. We started from Umrah, we went to Mina on 8th Zulhijjah, 9th morning, we are going to Arafah, 9th night, we are going to basically be in Muzdalifah, 10th, 11th, 12th, we are back in Mina, but in the days you're going and doing Rami every day, and then you have sacrifice, you have shaving of the head, you come out of your haram, and then you have to tawaf al-ifada between these times. So before you leave Makkah, you do tawaf al-ifada. That is the farewell. This is very high level, just to get familiar with what he's supposed to do. Like Brother Farid mentioned, we'll talk about each one in detail, how it's done, but just familiarize yourself with the overall landscape of things. What are all the things that you have to do? Hopefully this will help. Brother Farid?
Yep. Okay, Jazakallah khair, Brother Wasim. Brother Samir, who is in Medina, he makes, mashallah, excellent arrangements for us. Besides Saudi, he is our host in Saudi, basically. He makes arrangements for the Qurbani for the group. Unfortunately, because of the number of people that we can support, we will need to limit to our group, basically. So it is generally at a subsidized rate, and he makes sure it is done with the right requirements, within the right requirements, for example, within the precincts of Mina area. And then he also makes sure that we are informed as soon as the Qurban is done, and generally it gets done very early in the morning, so that we can get out of Haram and perform Tawaf al-Ifada if we can on the 10th itself, inshallah ta'ala. So if anybody has a question on what Brother Wasim has just presented, feel free to either put it in the chat or you can raise your hand. We can allow you to speak, but please limit the question to what, not about how. Do not get into the spiritual technicalities, the fiqh questions about how is tawaf done, etc., etc. But just from a process perspective, the high level. If you have questions, please feel free to ask now.
Yeah, one of the questions I see in the chat is for Mashaya trains. Do all trains leave Arafah after Fajr? So basically, the trains are continuously leaving. So it's kind of on us when you want to go. Like every group kind of goes at different times. There is a waiting period. So like every train that comes, it fills up. So there is sometimes queues, and that queues can take 30 to 40 minutes, sometimes depending on what time you are leaving. But yeah, the guidance is that we will all try to go together, inshallah. And then you bring the trains are running basically pretty much all day. Now for Salah in Mina, there's another question again. There is some fake aspect to it, but basically we'll be praying all our Salahs in Mina. Since most of us will be travelers, it will be Qasr Salah. So just leaving it at that. Inshallah, we'll not go into much detail right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, quick question, clarification on that train. Please remember, train is available only for the Al-Kabsh package. Okay, the Al-Mawsam camp going to the Jamarat is by walk, and the transportation between Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah, and back is by bus. Okay, I just want that clarified. So the train is only for the Al-Kabsh package. Okay. Go ahead, Brother Wasim.
Another question was about the Haram. But yeah, the first time you're crossing Miqat, that Umrah, that's the one you have to do before you cross Miqat. The second Haram you do for the Hajj days, that you'll do from within Makkah. You're not going to go back to Miqat from your. You can do it from your hotel as well. We'll talk about that more details. But yeah, you're not going back to Miqat.
Let's hold this question for the fiqh. Yeah, let's hold that question for the fiqh. I understand this question about Jummah being on the day of Arafat. It is done together, but you know what? We'll keep this for the Mufti. I think he can explain this much better, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Any other question on the information about the what? Basically the plan from beginning to the end. What is it that you need to do during the ritual of the Hajj itself? Any other question? Raise your hand and we can enable you to ask the question before we move forward. Nope. Okay. All right. Let's move forward. Inshallah ta'ala, next going to share about the logistical part of it. Okay. So this is basically a high level map of the Haram area. Okay, so this is where Kaaba is. We'll get into a lot more detail about how the Kaaba's logistics, etc. are. But this is the clock tower that we keep referring to, the hotels in the clock tower. And then the address hotel is located here. This is the outdated picture, but this is where the address hotel is. And these are the Anjum towers basically here, located here. So the immediate close to the Haram, these are the three hotels. As you can see, they are pretty much butting into the courtyard of the Haram, basically. So these are right across from the courtyard of the Haram. Now, the next is the Zone C, where we are not supporting any of the hotels in this area, but these are the hotels such as the Voco hotels, La Meridian, and Shuruq, etc. These are the hotels in the Zone C itself. Zone A and B, we are kind of combining it here because they're right next to each other. The immediate front of the hotels is considered Zone A. Zone B are the Hilton, the address, etc. are considered Zone B. But these are, I just wanted to show how the hotels are located close to the Haram. Zone M, which is the hotel which has Millennium, Ibis, Holiday Inn, Imar Al Noor, Samal, Diafa, These are the hotels which are about 5 to 7 kilometers depending on their location in Azizia. So these are all the Azizia hotels which are further away there basically. Okay. So giving a more of a same view, but more of from a map perspective, zone A and B are right next to the Kaaba. Zone C is out here basically. Zone M is about, as I said, it's about 5 to 7 kilometers. These are all the hotels which are mentioned: Millennium, Ibis Holiday Inn, Imar Al Noor, and Samal Diafa. There is the transportation available, shuttle service available from these hotels to the Haram until the Makkah police starts closing the roads. This is only dependent on the Makkah police start closing the roads into the Haram in preparation of the Hajj departures. Basically, generally it happens around the 6th of Dhul Hijjah. Until about the 5th of Dhul Hijjah, you have easy access to the Haram using the shuttles, but then it starts becoming a little bit difficult. Now the question keeps coming up, are other transportations available? Well, remember, the Makkah police is shutting down the roads. So that means whether it is shuttles, taxis, or whatever will become difficult. Taxis will say that they will take you to Haram, but generally they will end up dropping you much, much further away from Haram. You have to be aware of it. And we have always recommended, if you have completed your Umrah, the first required Umrah, avoid making these treks to the Haram, taking the chances, because we do not want you to get sick before getting into Haram. It's before you getting into the rituals of the Hajj itself, inshallah. So this is a bigger picture about all the things that Brother Wasim just talked about, the different aspects. Haram, that's where we do the our Umrah, and then this is the Jamarat and Mina here. And then from Mina, we go to the Arafat, which is about 14 kilometers approximately. Arafat, we are there on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, and then we come to Muzdalifah on the night of the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, which is about 8.6 kilometers. People have tried to walk this distance. Please avoid doing it. The temperatures are very, very high. And you do not want to get lost in these temperatures. It can get extremely hot. So please wait for our arrangements, wait for the arrangements that the service provider is making. And then from Arafat to Muzdalifah, it's approximately about 8 kilometers. And then you spend the night in Muzdalifah. And after the Fajr, after the dawn, okay, after you have completed the time of the Ishraq, then you move to Mina. If you notice here, the distance between Muzdalifah and to Mina is approximately 2.5 to 3 kilometers. If you are in Al Muassam camp, you would have already practiced it, already be ready for this, the walk to the Jamarat. The transportation from Muzdalifah to Mina for Al Muassam camp. Al Kabsh camp will be going by train. Generally, that is not a problem, other than the fact that you have to wait at the train station. This is generally a pretty good wait, 45 minutes to an hour wait to get onto the train. So for the Al Muassam camp, the bus transportation from Muzdalifah to Mina is generally a huge challenge. Every year we keep talking to service providers, we keep coming up with different ways of making it easier, but every year we find that it is always challenging no matter what. Our recommendation, and we will coordinate, we'll work with our guides to help you. We highly recommend, if anybody that is capable of walking, anybody that needs a wheelchair, you have somebody to push. And sometimes we will also arrange that also for this case especially. It is best to walk from Muzdalifah to Mina. It is simpler, it's easier than waiting for the bus. The buses generally becomes a bigger struggle. And this is always a huge challenge. Every year, on and on, this is a huge challenge. So this is about 2.5 to 3 kilometers. It's a fairly good walk. The roads, it's a paved path, especially for pedestrians itself. And inshallah, we will talk more about this, inshallah ta'ala. So this is at a high level, the pictorial part. Talking about the the camp itself, the Mina camp itself. The camp that Al Mosam would be staying at, what's known as an American and European camp, which is the Al Mosam. The transportation to Jamarat is, there is no transportation, it's walking only. This keeps coming up. Are there buses to the Jamarat? There are no buses to Jamarat for the Al Mosam camp. Okay, it's about it's about 4 kilometers to about a little bit over 4 kilometers. It's about 3 miles of walk each way to the Jamarat. Okay, this is why in our very initial webinars we keep recommending people to very seriously start exercising and getting ready. Okay, so these are the arrangements of the camp. I want to talk about the Al Mosam camp first. The Al Mosam camp, the arrangements are fairly good. It is not as luxurious as the Al Kabsh camp or the Kidana camp, but this is fairly good. The bathrooms are fairly kept clean. The food is generally pretty good. There are drinks all throughout the day. The meals are available for 3 times meals. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is available while we are in the Mina camp. And when we move to the Arafat camp, there are also lunch available there also. So it's a fairly decent camp. It's not a luxurious camp, but it's a fairly decent camp. The only major challenge is the fact that to the Jamarat, you have to walk. Okay. Al Kabsh camp, much more better facilities, much fewer people to each tent. There is a train for going from the camp itself to the Jamarat to Arafat, and back to Muzdalifah, and from Muzdalifah back to Mina. So wait time, as I said, is about 30 minutes to an hour, possibly. You have to be prepared for that one. Kirana camp, this is a new camp that was introduced last year, and it is a very dedicated camp. It's a air-conditioned building similar to Al Kabsh in terms of quality and facilities. It's about 1 kilometer walk to the Jamarat. From my understanding, there are no trains from the Kidana camp. We are not supporting this. This is being supported by Saudia Airlines, and only it is being managed by one specific group, basically. So we are not going to talk more about this one, inshallah. So this is our planner. Which we have discussed it before. Lots of webinars coming up. Many webinars are coming up on the logistics, on the fiqh part, the chat group, and many webinars coming up. So if you have questions on the logistic part, if you have questions on the fiqh part, please hold on to that right now. For now, we want to just right now talk about the very high level where we are from where we are basically from the third round, etc. At this point in time, we still do not have any updates on when the third round will be, the quota, etc. We do not have that information. But what we can definitely talk to you about is there are lots of packages available, and inshallah, once the third round opens up, you should be able to jump in and move fast on it. So just be patient with us. As soon as we find information, we will get it to you. Concentrate on the month of Ramadan. Concentrate on the month of Ramadan. Okay, we are monitoring for you. Your precious package, continuously monitoring. We are going to look out for you this information. We will share it as soon as we find the information. As long as you're following our group chat, inshallah, you will know it as soon as we know it, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. E-wallet is ready. E-wallet is available at this point in time. Our assumption is most of you have the package in your shopping cart. Most of you have the preferred package already picked up. Our hope is that you have your e-wallet ready and prepared to go as soon as the round opens up, inshallah. If you feel you need to add more funds into your e-wallet, now is the time. Please get to the e-wallet as quickly as possible and add the funds if you need to. Both the credit card and the bank transfers are available. Please get to that one as quickly as possible. If you need help with either one of those two, please put your request into our survey document. The link is available. The QR code is on my left side there. So quickly put the request in. One of our team member will contact you. We will help you, whatever help you need, inshallah ta'ala. But get your e-wallet ready. We want your e-wallet to be ready, your shopping cart to be ready, your preferred package to be ready with the packages that we are supporting. The list of the packages are also on my on my right side here, on my right side. And please look through those package lists and select the packages. Now, people have asked the question about availability matrix that we are using. Just because a package is listed as low does not mean you cannot get that package. Just because a package is listed as high does not mean it is guaranteed for you. Please bear this in mind. So make your best judgment, okay, based on the requirements that you have. And as long as they meet your requirements, of course, the package that has high availability, meaning more seats are available in that package, the chances of getting that package are higher. Of course, yes, that is true. But there is no guaranteeing between the high, medium, low, etc. So go for the package that meets your need the most. Al-Kabsh packages, yes, there are fewer packages, but doesn't mean you cannot try it. If you have a specific need for Al-Kabsh package, let's say you have a medical need, let's say you have a need where you cannot walk from Al-Mawsam to, go ahead and try the Al-Kabsh package as your first preference, but be ready to jump to the Al-Mawsam package as quickly as possible. Now, we are expecting the third round to be opened up in the next few days, inshallah. We don't have an exact date. We are hoping, we have put our request in to open the packages on the weekend so that, we can comfortably work with it. But please be ready to jump in anytime. Remember, it's a first come, first serve basis. There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee of the number of visas, but if first come, first serve basis, basically. We're going to keep our Zoom session open to help with anything that we can possibly can. We have come up with some ways that we are possibly looking at how we can possibly help, but be prepared, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. I'm going to open up for questions. You can ask the questions on all the material that we have shared, but keep the questions limited to what we have shared today. Okay, inshallah ta'ala. Registrations are open, by the way. If anybody has not registered yet, you can go ahead and put the registration in, but please follow the document and the guidelines we have provided. I have found repeatedly, even the people that closely deal with us, not following our document and getting into trouble, not submitting proper images, not submitting proper passport pictures. It is going to delay things for you. You don't have time to delay at this point in time. You don't have time to go back and forth with Nusuk. Okay, I will submit this document, I'll resubmit. You don't have the time. You want to submit your package, your registration perfectly the first time, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, follow our document. We have shared documents it's there in our group chat. If you look at the description of the group chat, you will find the document that says upload. Use that document. It has lots of information, helpful information. We have also released a video also on that. Okay. All right, Brother Wasim, we can open up for questions.
Yeah, I'll ask everyone to either raise their hands in Zoom. You can do that by click on React and there's a raise hand option there. Do that, or you can put in your question in the chat. So one question in the chat is, will every hotel like Holiday Inn, Millennium have different buses? And the concern here is that, is there going to be pushing because the concern is that, will I be able to get onto the bus, it looks crowded for me.
I'm assuming this question is about the shuttle, right? I'm assuming, okay. The shuttle, each hotel has their own shuttle. Service provider also ends up adding some additional buses from the hotels.
So I think they're talking about going to Mina.
Oh, going to Mina. Okay. Going to Mina itself, especially from last year, I know the years before it was very difficult. From the last year, going to Mina from the hotel was a lot more coordinated. I mean, our group, mashallah, because they were listening to our guidance, they were following everything we were saying. our group went to the Mina camp very peacefully because the buses were dedicated for us, etc. I mean, certain times of the buses were dedicated, and we did not have any pushing. Most of the other groups also did not have any pushing, but there was some delays for them. Okay, but our group was able to go into the camp in a much more coordinated, in a much more early time. So going to the hotel to the Mina camp is generally not an issue. Okay, going from the Mina camp to Arafat and Arafat to Muzdalifah still requires a little bit of work. We have had very detailed this is for the Al Mosam camp. We have had several discussions with our service providers to arrange this a little bit better. We are hoping it will be done much better this year, inshallah ta'ala. So we are going to do our level best, inshallah, and hope for the best also, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay. One thing to note is that, remember that every person is trying to go from the same, like everybody's trying to go from Mina to Arafat. So there will be wait, right? So as long we should be waiting, and that's what Paribhai always says about patience, right? That is usually tested, right? I mean, you want to be patient. Don't get, people get anxious that I want to reach. Everybody will, inshallah, get there in time, inshallah.
Inshallah. I think that the key is for people to listen to your group leader. I mean, in most cases, the shoving and all that starts is because people don't listen to the group leaders. And that's why I keep appreciating the Hujjaj that went with us. And mashallah, we had a very, very large group within our service provider last year. But because they listened to our guidance, they listened to our what we were asking them to do, our group at least had a decent time, at least. Yes, there were some challenges, but at least they were able to go much more peacefully than other groups. Okay.
I think we already addressed this, that, in Hajj Tamato, if you're going, you will be putting on a Haram. You don't have to go to Miqat again from the hotel. But this, again, there's a follow-up question somewhere else. To clarify, this is not talking about a Haram for Umrah, right? So the Niyat cannot be done from the hotel for Haram for Umrah. Niyat has to be done and the Haram has to be put on before you cross Miqat for Umrah. If you're doing second Umrah, then that's a separate thing. You can go to Masjid Aisha. That's another for people who are already in. But people who are not already in, you cannot land into Jeddah. A lot of people do this mistake. They land into Jeddah. They have not put on a Haram yet. They think we'll go to the hotel, change, and then we'll do it. So if you're going Makkah and you land in Jeddah, before you land in Jeddah, you should be in Haram.
And we'll cover this again and again in our sessions.
So one hand up is NB. You can unmute yourself now.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
For the questions on the traveling logistically, right? So for the trip to the Mina, so now we will be in a different hotel than your regular Rawaf Mina hotel of Dana Millennium and others. So will we be traveling with you, or we will be in a separate bus?
Okay. As long as you are in one of our packages, we will coordinate your bus rides, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay. And in Mina, will we be in a one tent, or somebody will be from your team be with us?
Somebody from our team will be with again, as long as, again, I want to keep repeating this because I want to be careful, because last year we had a major challenge where people picked up other packages outside of what we were supporting, and they were very disappointed that we are not supporting those packages. As long as you're selecting the packages that we have in our list, one of our guide will be with you throughout the process, inshallah.
Yeah, okay. The package we have purchased is one that you are supporting.
Then you're taking. Then our guide will be with you. Okay.
So whenever we travel from the hotel to Mina to Arafat.
Inshallah, ta'ala, inshallah. Okay. Again, depending on the number of people, etc., they might have reached the camp first, depending on how things are. But our guides will be with our group, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay. Will they be also, the guide will also be there in the hotel, or we will reach out?
Well, again, it depends on the number of people in each hotel, but our guides will be in each hotel. Our guides will be there, inshallah.
Okay. For the Haram, Do the
Mhm.
service providers provide the Ihram, or do we need to?
What we're going to do is in the next few days, we are kind of waiting for this purchasing to
Pay slip?
finish to get into the full mode of training the Hujjaj. Okay, we are going to release a supplies list. Okay, on the supplies list, one of the things that we are asking for the Hujjaj is to buy a ihram on their own. Yes, service providers do provide a ihram, but when do you get it, how do you get it, it becomes a logistical issues. Okay, if when the service provider provides that one, generally it is at the airport or at the hotel. Now if Makkah is your first stay, that becomes a challenge, right? So
Yeah.
that's why we ask people always to have their own ihram when they leave their houses. Okay, whether your stay is Makkah or whether your stay is Medina, you should always have your one set of ihram that you buy, and we will give you the guidance in our later webinars where to get it, etc. But our supplies list includes ihram also. Okay.
Do we want to talk about the travel and other stuff now, or?
Hold it for now. Just we'll get into a lot more detail on this. I mean, a lot more webinars are coming on this.
Jazakallah, brother.
Next hand up is Osama.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair, for the another wonderful presentation. I think what you said, and I just want to reiterate and just remind myself and everybody, it's very important to listen to the guides, and don't come up with the expected plans, like, I want to do this, and that time. Because a lot of things change in the last minute, and just go with the as much preparation we can go. I remember last year, one of the experiences that I brought extra stuff with me. And when I went to Mina, I found out that they provided the pebbles as well, made it from China. So it's always good to go with all the good preparation, and most importantly, listen to the guides. So Jazakallah khair, for reminding and showing us another good presentation.
Jazakallah khair, Hafiz Osama. Hafiz Osama is one of our guide. Inshallah ta'ala, he'll be with us also. Now, I'm glad you brought up the question about the pebbles. Questions have been asked about providing the pebbles. We still will ask our mufti about that, but we probably will not do that because it's a sunnah for the Hujjaj to pick up the pebbles from Muzdalifah. Okay, and secondly, if I provide the pebbles, I still have to go to Muzdalifah and pick it up. Okay, again, to the point that Hafiz Osama is making it, we don't want to make that assumption that the pebbles are from Muzdalifah. That would be a bad assumption because it's a sunnah for the pebbles to be from Muzdalifah. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. So follow your guide. I mean, one thing I want to point out about guide is there to guide you. Okay, they're not going to hold you down. If you want to go somewhere on your own, they cannot hold you down. That is not their purpose. The purpose of the guide is to make sure that you are safe and you perform all the rituals on a timely manner, basically. Okay, that is what their purpose is. So follow them. They are human beings. They might make mistake, but they are there to guide you, protect you, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, next question, please.
Next question is, do we have to carry sleeping bag from Arafah or from Mina, or will it be given in Muzdalifah? And yes, that's a follow-up question. Yeah. Sleeping bag.
The sleeping bag is generally provided in Muzdalifah. Okay, you generally don't need to carry it. There are lots of sleeping bags there. The trip from Mina to Arafat to Muzdalifah, you want to travel as light as possible. Okay, so from Arafat to Muzdalifah, for example, that ride is also sometimes challenging. You want to be prepared to get onto the buses, etc., as quickly as possible. So, and then, as I mentioned, we highly recommend for people, unless there is a serious concern, serious medical reason for not walking to Mina, we want you to walk to Mina from Muzdalifah to Mina. Whether you're coming with us or you're going by some other group, this is our recommendation still, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, all right. So so sleeping bag is, most of the service providers provide it. It's there, it's available in the Muzdalifah, inshallah ta'ala. Next question, please.
Yeah, just for telling what happened in Al-Kaf last year. In Al-Kaf, they gave it in Mina, and then we took it with us in the train. So what is the transport option if we choose to go to Al Haram for Tawaf alone on our own? Will service provider help, or will we have to travel on our own?
Okay. We have discussed this with our service providers in detail. Okay. They are trying to make arrangements to go to Haram from Mina for Tawaful Ifada. Okay. It's not just because you want to go back and forth kind of thing. For Tawaful Ifada, they are looking at arrangements. Now, please, as much as possible, take advantage and work with your guide to go to Tawaful Ifada. We have known people who have gone on their own and they've gotten themselves into some serious challenges returning back from Haram. Somehow you'll get to Haram, but it is returning back from Haram that becomes a challenge. If you take a private transportation, for example, they will tell you they will take you to the Mina camp, but actually most of them cannot, because there is restriction of what vehicle can come into the Mina ground, and generally they are stopped at the tunnel before the Mina itself. And it's a major walk from there, and it's not like a straight walk. Okay. We have known people who have gotten lost in 120 degrees, and people who have come from Haram, left Haram by about 8, 9 o'clock, have not reached the camp until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And even that, after lots of guidance from us, lots of help from the other folks. So please avoid that one, inshallah. And we'll talk more about this. This is something that we'll discuss a lot more, inshallah, at a later time. Okay. Go ahead.
Next hand up is Ataul Wasil in Medicine.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you, brother?
Walaikum. Alhamdulillah, sister.
My question is that how many of your Al-Kabsh packages are left?
As you can see on the list, we have quite a few Al-Kabsh packages available. Okay. The differentiation I want to make is Al-Kabsh packages might be available, but that doesn't necessarily relate to how many Al-Kabsh seats are available. I hope I'm making this clear. Okay. Al-Kabsh packages might be available, but the number of Al-Kabsh seats available is different. Okay. So be careful. This is where I keep cautioning about Al-Kabsh packages. Okay. So we do have lots of Al-Kabsh packages available, but there are not that many Al-Kabsh seats available. Okay.
And also, if like your flights, are they like from JFK, or like what if they reroute? Do you reroute them? Does the team reroutes them, or is it like through a certain do we have to take a domestic flight to like?
You will have to take a domestic flight to get to the gateway that is listed in our in the package. Yes. Okay. Did I answer the question, sister?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. If it's a group flight, then you have to make the arrangements for the connecting flight. If it's a custom flight, then you decide how you want to do that one. You can take it from your hometown to the different locations, etc. That is a custom flight. You can do it, but the group flight, you have to make a connecting flight arrangement. Okay. More?
Next question is about doing Tawaf on 12th Zulhijjah. We'll talk about this in more detail, but just one thing I will tell you right now is it is very tight, right? That you have to do Rami after Zawal, and then you have to try to get back to hotel. So if you delay it until the very last moment, it can get tight, but we'll cover that inshallah in the fifth session.
Inshallah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Do you think the server will improve from last time with OTP issues?
Our hope is, yes, it will. Our hope is that they have figured out what the challenges were, what caused that one. Our hope is yes, but we have to wait and see. But our team has come up with some possible solutions to help our Hujjaj who are going with Rawaf or Jamil, to help with one-on-one, inshallah ta'ala, to resolve that issue. So inshallah ta'ala, anybody that is going with Rawaf or Jamil, inshallah ta'ala, we'll have one-on-one sessions to get over that hump with the OTP. Inshallah, we are hoping we can help, inshallah.
Okay. Next hand up is Abdul Muqtadir.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam. I'm actually asking for my family member, and I'm not too familiar with this whole thing. One of them is still pending approval. It was under review. They had some issues with the picture a couple of times, and they did that. So all that is done. They have no longer asked about the picture, but the application is still under review for one out of the 5 people that are traveling. So they cannot go and for e-wallet yet, or they cannot do anything. So is the path for them is just to wait at this time?
Well, one thing that we do ask is for them to drop an email to the Nusuk people, support at hajj.nusuk.sa. And also there is a number, 966 number at the bottom of the that Nusuk website. Okay, we ask people to call that number directly. It's not a toll-free number. It's not a WhatsApp number. You have to call it on a regular line, and it does take a few minutes before a person gets engaged. But generally, they are very helpful with resolving the issue. Now, our hope is that they have submitted the picture as per the requirements, hopefully this time, and inshallah ta'ala, it should get approved quickly.
Yeah, I mean they did email, and I think they provided an email back saying they're looking into it. But thank you for the email, the phone number thing. We can try that. Inshallah.
Right. And also one thing you might want to do is after you speak to them this time, if the issue is still not resolved, share the ticket number with us.
I don't know if you got cut off or I got cut off here.
I think Farid bhai, you were cut off.
So you said share the ticket number, Farid bhai. After that, I didn't hear much.
Well, share the ticket number with us if it doesn't get resolved in the next few days, inshallah.
Inshallah. So, but the process is after, if that verifies, only then they can do the e-wallet. That's right.
That is correct. Until it's verified completely for every member in the account, only then you can do the e-wallet as well as the package selections.
Okay. Last question about this. So then, but they can start selecting the packages as of now yet or no?
They can start selecting it, but they cannot put it into the shopping cart.
In the cart, okay. But they can start selecting.
That they cannot do.
So they have to go to each provider and then look at the packages from there. So go from the Nusuk website down, or would you say?
We have shared the packages that we support. It's a fairly extensive list of packages. Okay, right. They can take a look at it, and if they are in our group, they should have been receiving the messages basically about the link and all that.
Okay. So go from your list and then take that list to compare that with the service providers on the Nusuk.
No, this is from the service provider, by the way. These packages are from Rawaf and Jamil. Those are the packages we are supporting. Okay, these are from the service provider, and this is what we are recommending people to select.
So from your package list, we get the code and match the code over there.
Correct. There is a URL. They would use the URL to get that. We have released documentation and video on how to go through this process. Okay. So if the family that you're referring to has not joined our group or has not reviewed, ask them to quickly jump in as quickly as possible, or you jump in and help them however you want to do it. But we have been releasing lots of information on how to go about doing this one.
Jazakallah Faid. I will take a look at the videos as well.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next question is, are you supporting Rawaf 407?
Yes, I believe we are. Take a look at in our package list. All the packages that we're supporting are there. 107, I believe, is supported.
407.
Oh, 407. I don't know. I have to look. We'll have to take a look at it, but please review our list, please. That's what I would suggest. Please review our list. That'll be the simplest thing.
Do we know when Nusuk will be open? We don't have a confirmed date.
We do not know that.
Zone M, I think somebody already answered. I have knee problems. Could you help me choose the best package for me, my condition?
Well, if you have a knee problem and if you don't have anybody traveling with you to push the wheelchair, the best one is to look for the Al-Kabsh packages, okay? Because with the Al-Mawsam, definitely you have to walk 3 miles, 3+3, going and coming back. That's about 6 miles to walk every day. And generally finding somebody to push the wheelchair is very difficult. And we as group, we cannot take that responsibility. Although we do try to help out people, but we cannot take that as a responsibility.
Yeah, next hand up is Bulent.
By the way, we do support 407. I just looked it up. Okay.
In the meantime, Farid, you want to just present the packages, because there's a lot of questions about packages.
Okay. All right. Let me just do that quickly. Okay. This is the list of packages. I hope people are able to. No, here. Okay. All right. So this is the list of all the packages here. Okay. So as you can see, we have separated this by Al-Kabsh, Azizia 3, which is 3-star hotels between Rawaf and Jamil. And then there is Azizia 4-star between Rawaf and Jamil. Zone hotels, which as I showed earlier, these are the hotels which are right close to the Haram itself. And then there are these are all the hotels basically. And then if you look at the bottom here, we have separated them all by Al-Kabsh, Zone hotels, Azizia 4 hotels, Azizia 3, and then the packages which are custom flights. Okay, so as you can see, we are showing that we support almost 108 hotels, 108 packages. Lots and lots of packages we are supporting, but our limit is we are supporting any package from Pullman Zamzam, Address Hotel, Anjum, Imar Al Noor, Ibis, and Samal Diafa. Okay, these are the hotels we are supporting. As long as it is Rawaf and Jamil package going into these hotels, we are supporting it. Okay, and in the listing here, as you can see, we are giving the service provider. We are also giving the availability. This is again availability as we know today. We try to keep this as current as possible. Here is the package number, the camp itself. Is it shifting or non-shifting? The Makkah Hotel, as you can see here, shifting. If it says yes, you will see the names of 2 hotels. Medina Hotel, you can see the name of the Medina Hotel. The approximate cost, excluding the flight, is about listed here 42,251 Saudi Riyal. The first stay, Makkah, Medina, etc. Airline, wherever we know the airline, we have listed the airline. The gateways that this package supports, New York, etc. The flight cost, wherever we have been able to figure it out, we have listed it here. So for example, if you want to look at package 163, the total is going to be 42,251 plus 12,703. Plus, there is a small transportation cost that Nusuk is adding, which is like approximately a little less than $1,000. Okay, that's your cost of the package and the flight itself. So, number of days is listed here, when the package will start, when the package will end, and here is the URL. Once you log in, once you're logged in, you can copy the URL, make it copy this one here, and then you can go to the browser and replace it in the browser. You will get to the package directly, and then you can select it to put it in your shopping cart, or you can set that as your preferred package. We have gone through this in detail before, but just to go through this all over again, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Any question on this one itself? No? Okay. I saw a question going back there about Al-Kabsh, which I spoke to you earlier. Okay. And I do want to explain that again. This applies to Al-Kabsh. This applies to Al-Mawsam also. There might be packages available, but when you look at the visa, it's availability of the visa that matters. Okay. Secondly, there might be packages available, but Al-Kabsh has very limited capacity. Most of the Al-Kabsh capacity has been sold out. Okay, capacity as in seats and beds of itself. So Al-Kabsh is about 5,000 is the capacity. My understanding is about a little bit over 4,000 of those seats have been sold out. The service provider have put out lots of packages with Al-Kabsh. So once the capacity of the Al-Kabsh is run over, those packages will not be available anymore, basically. Okay. So you got to be careful. The capacity of the Al-Kabsh is much smaller, although the packages might be available for Al-Kabsh. But those packages will kind of get shut down once the capacity of the Al-Kabsh is sold out. It's a little bit confusing, but just understand this as what is available in the warehouse, what people there are vendors out there in the best possible assumption making that they can sell it earlier than the other person. They are putting it out. That's all it is, basically. Once the capacity in the warehouse runs out, you cannot buy the product no matter how many people have it out there. Okay. All right. There are people who have the hands up, Brother Wasim.
Yeah, Bulent.
Bulent, do you have a question? I think
Anisa, next handler is Anisa.
Anisa.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam, sister.
Alhamdulillah. Question about the Al-Qabash, Major Qabash. So, before the package phase 3 open, I hope it will be given 2-3 days to reconfigure and arrange. Yes or no?
That's a good question, sister. I don't believe you'll have 2 to 3 days. Okay. If anything, we might get the advance notice of 24 hours. I don't expect it much more than 24 hours for you to go and reconfigure if you need to. But my thought is, I don't want you to wait until we tell you when it's going to be open up. You should be reconfiguring. You should be putting your preferred package now. You should not wait for the announcement on the 3rd round. You should be ready. Absolutely, you should be ready as of now.
The reason I ask is because would they actually update the actual number of Qabash available? If it's going to be just 50, then maybe just give it all to Jamil only, Jamil 215 only. So no other package. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I am not certain if they will release that information, but if we find out that information, we will immediately put it in our broadcast channel, in our group chat, even more than putting it into the package list. Okay. We will put it out there in our group chat so that people can make their best decision. For example, if we find out there are only 400 seats available, we will broadcast it in our group chat so that people can start making their best decision at that point in time. We will do the best we can.
Inshallah. Another question. Can people collect the pebbles around the Muasim or close to Jamarat instead of at Muzdalifah? Because I heard some people get so tired, exhausted, and it's dark at night, they couldn't even figure out the right pebbles. Can we do
our understanding, and again, sister, we will bring up this question during our fiqh session, inshallah ta'ala, so that the mufti can answer this more clearly. Our understanding is it's a sunnah to pick up the pebbles from Muzdalifah. Okay. I want to leave it at that for right now. Let's not get too involved in that question. Let's wait for the mufti, inshallah ta'ala.
Yeah. Okay. One last question. The tawaf of Ifada, must we do it on the 11th, or we have some extension we can do on the 12th?
You have it until the 12th to do it. But again, I think Brother Wasim did touch on this one. You do not want to put this off until the 12th because there is lots of things happening on the 12th. Okay. And our recommendation actually is to avoid the 10th only because of the rush in Haram and the challenges with the transportation. We recommend the 11th, but we will discuss this much more in detail in the logistics session, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah here, all of you brothers.
Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
So there's a question in the chat about travel from Muasim to Jamarat and back. That is walking. That is no.
It's walking only. There is no transportation. I'm repeating this again and again. There are lots of rumors going on. Oh, somebody is going to provide for buses, etc. Our understanding is there are no buses going, anybody going to be arranged. I mean, it is only by walking from Al Muassam to the Jamarat. No other choice. Okay. All right.
Next hand up is Bulent. Do you want to?
Bulent?
Yeah, my question is about the packages. So, like the only packages allowing to configure your own flight are the ones the custom, or in the third round, all the packages are going to be allowing configuration of the flights.
All the packages will be available. All the packages that does not have reached the capacity will be available in the third round, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay. And then will you be able to configure, if we reach out to you, the flights
Yes.
right now for us? Okay.
I mean, again, 1 minute, 1 minute. As long as
Yeah.
you're referring to the group flights, yes, we can help you. But if you're referring to the custom flight, please bear in mind, custom flights have to be configured at the time of the booking.
Okay, at the time of the booking. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because it's a marketplace time, right? It's a whatever is available on that day at that point in time. Okay. But we will be there. We will be here to help you as long as you are picking one of our packages.
Yeah.
Inshallah ta'ala, we'll do one-on-one and help you, inshallah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, maybe you guys already communicated this with the providers, but like the putting the money up front and then like returning and then cutting like 2-3%, it's really kind of ridiculous, right? So like this could be done much better.
Agree.
And second one is like why do they put us in through this agony while they can just basically, like all the Muslim countries, like I'm from Turkey, they have like a lottery system. You put your name and this year if you're going or not, right? Then you can put and then make your arrangements and everything. Why the providers are not doing something like this? I mean, otherwise, like they're putting all the people who are intending to go Hajj in lots of agony and then lots of expenses. And then the time is more expensive than our money, but it's just like, I don't know why they're just basically trying to put all the Hujjaj into this agony.
And well taken, brother. Okay.
I mean, do you guys have any communicated, and then did they say anything about this?
We have communicated several things to the Nusuk and the Ministry of Hajj. Some of it they have implemented, some of the improvements they have made, but there are lots of things that it requires further improvement. I mean, like making us go through, we are in the month of Ramadan and we are sitting worrying about when the package will open instead of worrying about, how will I complete my Quran, how will I do my Taraweeh good, etc. But it's a point well taken. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question or I think we should wrap it up in another 3 minutes, if no more questions.
I think that was the last hand up. Mostly I think the question answered. For the question about packages, please review this link for the packages. And you can, you should be able to get it.
Yeah, please review that one. I think the package list is pretty clear, pretty this thing. And if you need help with it, we'll more than be willing to help. In our survey document, in our form, put the request in saying that you need help. One of our member will contact you, inshallah ta'ala, and guide you through the package list and the whole thing. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
My question is that we got the package and our getaway is in New York. So do we have to buy the tickets for New York right now or no?
Have you already purchased the package?
Yes.
Okay, if you purchase the package, yes, you should go ahead and make your connecting flight.
So that date is it's a clear March, May 31st to June 4th, I think June 13.
Whatever your package says, sister, you should go ahead and make the arrangement as per the package. Okay. Now, our recommendation is to give enough time before the departure, just in case if your connecting flight gets delayed, canceled, or you have to make alternate arrangement. Do not be in a situation where you are arriving, you're planning your flight to arrive at JFK, for example, 5 hours
Mhm.
before the flight time, because what if your connecting flight gets delayed? Okay,
Oh,
because
okay.
the flight from JFK is not waiting for you. Remember that. Okay, just because your connecting flight is delayed, the flight going to Saudi from JFK will not, international flight will not wait. So our recommendation always is try to get there a day before if possible. If not, at least enough time to make alternate arrangement if your
Okay.
connecting flight fails.
All
Okay.
right. Okay. Thank you.
There are lots of questions about the package, as Brother Wasim mentioned. Please review the package list. The answers are there in the package list. Is there, does a package have a custom flight or not? It is there. If you look at the gateway, etc., it'll tell you custom, etc. So please review the package list. If you need help, put your request into our survey document, and one of our member will contact you and help you through, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. Okay, Brother Wasim, shall we wrap up?
Yeah, I think just there's a question about. I think some people might not have been issued the group flight tickets yet, right? So, is there a chance of anything changing before making your domestic flight arrangements?
Well, if the group flight, for example, is listed, then we don't expect any changes to it. Okay. Is it guaranteed? It will. Can I say absolutely they will not? I cannot guarantee it, but generally they don't make changes to the group flights. Okay, so as well as I mean, since you're not done the custom flight yet, most of the people, but from a group flight perspective, changes are not there. But always give a little bit of room for the connecting flight again. Okay, someone is asking the question about the Al Mosam camp or Al Kabsh camp. By now you should know which camp you bought the package from, because in the package list detail, it clearly will tell you which package, which camp you are in. Okay, it'll tell you very clearly which package you're in. If you don't know, take a look at our package list. In our package list against the number, you will see which camp it is, your package is in. Okay, all right. Okay, is that okay, Brother Wasim? Shall we go ahead and end it, because it's already 4:31. Okay. Jazakallah khair for everybody that attended the session. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika wa tabarak asmuka wa ta'ala jadduka wa la ilaha ghayruk. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. We hope to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that everybody that is listening to us and that will listen to us, and everybody is able to get the best out of this month of Ramadan and get as much ibadah as possible. I understand things are frustrating, but make dua for yourself, your family, people, for the people who have passed away, all the Muslims that have passed away, and the Ummah in general. The Ummah in many countries is in lots of challenging situations. Please remember them in your dua. And remember also the leaders of our country, of our communities, etc., because these are also people who make decisions on us. So make sure you do that one. Again, I thank everybody for joining the session. Anything good that we have delivered today, it's only from the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a rahmah from Allah that we are able to make this happen. Any mistakes, any shortcoming in our presentation, it's only due to our weakness. We seek Allah's forgiveness. We end the call. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.